A very good morning to everyone here. My name is Tan Yiting, and these are my teammates Lux, Nurul, Bulan, Mikoto, Yuan, and Jared. So, we are here today to present to you our philosophy and current issues final presentation, and that is it for our very short introduction. Now, I will pass it on to my first teammate, Mikoto.
Okay, thank you, Charles. So my name is Mikoto. So I'm going to explain about the metaphysics and the relation of simulation hypothesis and Schlein. So the first one is the simulation hypothesis. So the simulation hypothesis is a theory that proposes that the possibility that our reality is a computer simulation and we are controlled by someone. So this theory is focusing on the metaphysical context of like what is existence and also the causality. So so if we ask like why are we existence and why is that event that happening like because like everything that happened in the reality is simulated and also that we are existing in the world is created by a computer. So the next one is shrine. So shrine are the places where Shinto gods and the traditional religion of Japan are enshrined. So the object of enshrine as gods are varied from like mountain mirrors and other objects and natures. So enshrined, so nature objects such as mountain, fire, sun, earth, and land are also considered as a god. And these objects have a worship and are treated as sacred. So this is also kind of animism. So, and also there is a Shinto concept of 8 million gods in which everything is said to have a god. So this Shinto and shrine concept mainly focuses on like what is like existence of a nature. So that's all for my part. I'll pass to the next presenter, Blanc.
Thank you, Mikoto. So for my part, I read on The Nature of the Gods by Cicero. So in the book, the philosopher argue whether the gods exist or not. And for context, these Roman and Greek philosophers grew up in a polytheist community. So it was common sense back then that they believed that there is more than one god. So one of the Greek philosopher is Xenocrates. He stated that there are eight gods, while Epicurus believed that the gods exist, but he never stated how many he believed exist. In my personal experience and also in theoretically wise, there is a possibility that there is more than one God. Next slide, please. And in the book, they argued from where do we acquire certain sentiments. So I would quote from the book. Now, if intelligence and faith, virtue, and concord exist in the human race, from where could these have emanated down to earth except from the gods above? So from there, I made an argument like if humans are the creation of gods, meaning surely our capability to forgive is something gifted by them, because if what is given to us should, it makes sense that they would have it as well. So I will give to Kiha to continue.
Okay, thank you, Bulan. Now, I would like to explain my points related to why anti-vaxxers act the way they do, which are confirmation biases and a strong us versus them mentality. First of all, confirmation biases are naturally hardwired into our nature. According to a scientific paper, humans actively seek out information that supports their prior stances. This means that if they start believing in conspiracy theories, they will be more inclined to seek out information that supports their stances, no matter how misguided. Plus, on the internet, there is no shortage of misinformation to feed the fire. This all results in a strong, unshakable opinion that is hard for outsiders to change or disprove. Next, anti-vaxxers, similar to most other conspiracy theories, have a strong us versus them mentality. It is very common for people with similar traits or beliefs to band together. For example, immigrants from the same country are likely to band together to settle the same area, or people with the same music taste might form a club to share their mutual appreciation. However, in this case, anti-vaxxers likely feel that their truth is frequently denied by naysayers, so they get very defensive and stay within their own little closed community. By doing this, they close themselves off from any factual streams of information, like doctors. Plus, they also tend to believe that vaccinations result in severe after effects like autism, instilling fear in them. This leaves them very easily manipulated and forms an echo chamber in which these anti vaxxers will only encounter information and opinions that reflect and reinforce their own, leading to the misinformation going unchallenged. That concludes my part, and I will next hand it over to Lux.
All right, thank you, Kiha. So moving on why does people go against anti-vaxxers, or why are there anti-vaxxers in our countries? Because of systematic mistrust. People have trust issues from where the information is coming from. Well, the government always emphasize that the information that they are publishing comes from a particular and from a secure source, but people intend to still mistrust them, or still do not trust the particular information. Why? Because people think that this is the involvement of the country's stakeholders and also of the country's paramedical industries. Basically, for example, I would like to give is that during the COVID-19 pandemic, the economy of our country was really bad. So therefore, people think that the government came out with the vaccines is due to in order for them to boost the economy's stage, basically. So that is why people are having trust issues, because it's like they feel that the paramedical industries and also the countries are taking advantage of them, as you can see in another way. Moving on why does people have issues with vaccination is basically of spiritual and religious belief. For example, different people come from different spiritual and some in different beliefs. Basically, we have different variation of cultures in Malaysia, for example, where people have different beliefs and different way of aligning to things that they really want to believe, or the things that they really do not want to believe. For example, some people feel that based on their belief, they do not want to take vaccines that is not secure, example, and also they do not want to trust information that is not fully been confirmed yet, where they feel that using that old theoretical method which has been proven for centuries, or which been proven for years, they prefer to use that rather than putting something into their body which they do not have information about. Basically, moving on, this is my part for the on why people are going against vaccination. Therefore, I'll be giving it towards Jared to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Jared. Decolonization. Malaysia is no stranger when it comes to being colonized, and here the negative effects of some philosophies will be presented. First, anthropocentrism, which means that the human race is seen to be superior from other living beings. This causes a negative effect onto the environment and animals, as they are not considered to be important in the human eye. An example in Malaysia would be the logging of the many forests in the country. The activity was brought in by the British colony to benefit significantly from the production of rubber and palm oil. This is still frequently happening today and may increase the risk of landslides, more carbon emission, and temperature rises. Next slide, please. Second, Eurocentrism, which means the people see the ideas of Westerns to be superior. This places less care for local ideas and culture, and may even completely ignore them. An example in Malaysia would be the historical writings that declared Malaysian independence fighters in the past as rebels. While some Western ideas are beneficial to us, we must not completely follow every one of them. We should properly consider and appreciate our unique local culture, as they are also important to be followed and preserved. I will now pass on to Nurul.
Okay, thank you, Jared, for the presentation. I will be going to my parts. So, egoism. So, what is egoism? Egoism is an excessive concern for oneself with or without exaggerated feelings of self-importance, often leading to consequences for society as a whole. And one of the negative effects of egoism is through a lack of empathy and compassion for others. Now, when individuals prioritize themselves above everyone else, they may become less willing to help those in need or contribute to the common good, and thus creating a society that is so devoid of kindness and understanding, and it leads to a breakdown in community support. Now, an example of this in Malaysia is Ketuhanan Melayu Islam. Ketuhanan Melayu Islam or Malay supremacy is a belief that the Malay race is superior to the other races in Malaysia. Now, in the 2000s, Islam became a powerful political tool that leads to a rise in racism towards Chinese community, as Malays and Muslims political parties adapts this Muslim versus non-Muslim narratives, and it began to erode multiculturalism and cause disparities among Malays and other ethnicities. Now, moving on to the next slide, secularism. Secularism is a political principle that separates religion and other aspects of human life. While secularism is often associated with freedom of religion and protection of individual rights, it can also have negative effects on Malaysian citizens, and that is the erosion of traditional values and beliefs. And since Malaysia is a multi-religious country, it can lead to a lost cultural identity among Malaysian citizens. And you know why? Religion plays a significant role in shaping cultural identity. When religion is marginalized, individuals who believe in certain faiths are excluded from society, and it also limits younger generation exposure to diverse perspective and beliefs, and can lead to lack of understanding and tolerance. Now, secularism also promotes the idea of consumerism and materialism among individuals. What is the correlation? So, consumerism is the culture of buying material goods and services, often in excess of what is necessary for our basic needs. In secular society, where religion is not a driving force in people's lives, individuals may turn to material possessions to fill the void left by absence of spiritual fulfillment. As a result, Malaysians become more materialistic, valuing possessions and wealth over personal being. And that's all for my part. I will be passing on to Kiha.
Okay, thank you, Nurul. With the recent rise of the internet, cultural globalization now threatens the identity, belief system, tradition, and ways of life of Malaysia. For example, one of the negative aspects that it has brought onto us is individualism. While on a smaller scale it is mostly beneficial, on a larger scale it deteriorates the sense of community between individuals. To combat this, we may call back to the root of most religions, to love and to care for one another. All religion stems from a tight-knit community, so to ensure that all members get along, most religions have a guideline that encourages everyone to live in harmony and benefit the community. Now I'll pass it on to Lux.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Kiha, once again. So moving on, I'll be going towards Hinduism, which is basically known as the principle of Dharma. So what does the principle of Dharma basically means? It's a religious duty which emphasizes the moral act that we have to do. In Hinduism, they believe that one should maintain a moral and a harmonious society in order for them to have a good life. Therefore, how does Dharma support decolonization is basically they encourage everybody to fulfill whatever requirements or whatever dream that they want to fulfill, but therefore they have to maintain it in their culture's identity, which is that do not get their culture's identity ruined or do not get their culture's name ruined, for instance. Moving on, I'll be moving towards my next partner, which is Yuvan, to explain to you more. Thank you.
Thank you, Lesendra. So my part, the good tips. So I will moving towards good tips in expressing the composing, mindful and interconnect. Whereas the offer valuable framework and addressing decolonialization and culture colonization. Try for the implementing the principle of independence of Buddhists, by encouraging them towards holistic approach toward decolonization. The way that Buddhists support the decolonization is by encouraging the interconnector of the economic, social, and environment system. When this system, the principle of Buddhism will provide a path towards more the equitable world. So next part, the Christianity. So Christianity believes the only God, the eternity which is Jesus. Where they believe that this God and divided into the three parts, which the Father and Son and Holy Spirit. Therefore, the Christianity believes the refraction of Jesus often the forgiveness the sins. Moving on the way, the Christian support the decolonization by teaching people how to love, respect everyone, which can be lead to respect to culture, diversity, and important of serving local identity. So last part, going the last part. So last part, the Islamic. The Islamic only God which the called Allah means the belief in the angels. Therefore, the also believe in the holy book, the saint or prophets, including Torah, Boon, the revolt. Or to the prophet, the Moses Bible, the revolt to prophets. And Jesus and Quran, that the revolt, the prophet, the Muhammad. The five pillars of Islamic is the Sabah, Salah, Jagat, as one Aji. So identity, the way the Islamic support the decolonizing is the way emphasizing on the community and ummah which will fosters unity among the Muslim and encouraging the preserving of the local and customer within the global faith. So just finish my part.
Okay, all right. Thank you for listening, and that is all for our presentation today. Thank you very much.